and they said link scores. I shot 81. I was on fire. I was on fire. I tell you what. Well, it doesn't have any trees, but it's got all that really rough, gorse stuff.
I'm not J. Pope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is just having to deal with the wind, which seems to be all the time.
Nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
Hello, Councilman McLemore.
Separate things. We have a certification and then we do another. I usually combine. Let me ask them to make sure. Okay. You all right? Excuse me, Mr.
Yes, ma'am. I actually like it if it's done too. I think it's
Fall backwards again. All out of my chair.
put it all in one. And folks don't really understand it. I don't complain if you don't do it.
I'll sue. I'm not good. I can sue. I better watch what I say.
Nervous again. I'm fine.
Wow, I got a lot of paper.
It's 7:05. Okay.
Keep on piling that on. All right, so I'm gonna tell you.
Good evening. I'm going to call our school board meeting to order. Tonight, I will be chairing the meeting in the absence of our board chair, Mr. Robert Holt. We would like to welcome everyone to our school board meetings for October 19th, 2017. Many of you come out in the community monthly to support us, and we want to say thank you. We do want to welcome all of the members of the community, and we do see that we have a councilman in our midst tonight, Mr. Greg McLemore. Thank you so much for your attendance tonight. Always thankful to have the media present as well. We'll start this evening by reading the mission for Franklin City Public Schools. The mission of Franklin City Public Schools is to work in partnership with students, families, and the community to provide enriching opportunities to empower individual learners to maximize their potential and becoming critical thinkers, productive citizens, and lifelong learners. At this time, we'll have a motion to come out of closed session.
Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Can we get a second?
A second.
You've heard the motion. It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. If you notice on our agenda here, it says motion to come out of closed session, and then it says certification by school board. So we're going to, if by consensus tonight, we're going to accept the motion to come out of closed session with the certification. Okay? Great. At this time, we'll entertain motions from closed session. I believe there are two.
I make a motion to approve the personnel agenda as presented with the exclusion of line 17.
Get a second?
I second.
It's been moved and properly second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. Any other motions from closed session?
I make a motion to allow for the advertising of an alternative education teacher position at SP Morton and also a teacher's assistant position at SP Morton.
Can we get a second?
I second that as well.
It's been moved and properly second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. At this time, we're going to receive, I believe it's Donica Blankenship, an 8th grade student at Joseph P. King Middle School. Please, let's rise and receive her for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We're dressed in our 50s.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Donica. At this time, we'll have roll call by our board clerk, Mrs. Moore.
Amy Phillips,
Present.
Michelle Williams,
Present.
Ron Busnak,
Present.
Robert Holt, Dr. Andrea Hall Leonard,
Present.
Rebecca Jester,
Present.
Jessica Grant.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. We'd like to have a motion at this time for approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Can we get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly a second to approve the agenda as presented. You've heard the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. Thank you. Mrs. Moore, next on our agenda is Citizens Time. Do we have anyone tonight signed up for Citizens Time?
No, we do not.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Action to approve minutes. We have minutes to approve from September 21st, school board meeting minutes, and the call school board meeting minutes of October the 5th, 2017, and we'll take them separately. So can we have a motion at this time to approve the school board meeting minutes from September 21st?
I make a motion that we approve the school board meeting minutes as presented in our materials dated September 21st, 2017.
Can we get a second?
A second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the school board meeting minutes from September 21st, 2017. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. We have school board meeting minutes from October the 5th, 2017.
I make a motion to approve, that we approve the meeting minutes from the Thursday, October 5th, 2017 called meeting.
Can we get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the school board meeting minutes of the called meeting held on October 5th, 2017. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. Thank you. Ms. Sterling, report of the superintendent.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to begin the report of the superintendent with Mr. Pope, our student liaison from Franklin High School.
Thank you, Ms. Sterling. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The month of October has been very busy for all three schools. Beginning with Franklin High School, they recently completed Benchmark 1, and the teachers are analyzing data and making plans moving forward from the scores. Students received interims on Monday, and we are 5 weeks into the school year. All sophomores took their PSAT on October the 11th, and we would like to thank the school board for funding that. We also had some actual students take the actual SAT on October 7th. The juniors ordered their class ring last Thursday and Friday through Herff Jones, and this Saturday is our first SOL Academy, which is last Saturday was our first SOL Academy on October 14th for all students taking the English 11 writing SOL on October 24th and 25th. This week was our Spirit Week because of homecoming, and we had a different theme for each day of the week. Our homecoming game is tomorrow at 7 o'clock versus Greensville. We will announce the king and queen there. There will be a pep rally tomorrow there to prepare for the game and introduce our homecoming court. The dance will be this Saturday at Franklin High School from 7 to 10. Our volleyball team is doing great and is having a winning season. The district tournament is Saturday, October 28th, and we are proud because you have to be the top 4 teams, and our team made it. Laptops were distributed last week, and this week the students who paid their fee and returned their signed forms. On Monday, October 23rd, the underclassmen will take their pictures. Ms. Massenberg has been taking students to different college fairs. And that is all for Franklin High School. For SP Morton, last Friday, October 13th, students wore pink polo and t-shirts, pink socks, and pink shoelaces in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. SP Morton will also having a Homecoming Spirit Week this week from October 17th through 20th. On Tuesday, they had a sports day. Wednesday, they had Dress Like Your Future Profession. Thursday, they had Superhero Day, and Friday was Blue and Gold Spirit Day. Red Ribbon Week will be next week, October 23rd and 27th. Their themes will be on Monday, Proud to be Drug-Free. Wear red to help kick off Red Ribbon Week. Tuesday, Team Up Against Drugs and Bullying. Wear your favorite team shirt or jersey with uniform, pants, and khakis. Wednesday, Unity Day Against Bullying. Make it orange and wear orange shirts with uniform pants or skirts. Thursday, October 26th, from head to toe, I'm drug-free. Wear crazy socks and crazy hair with uniform pants and skirts. Friday, October 27th, Red Sock Day. All students wear red socks to show their drug-free pride with uniform pants and skirts. Food Line Family Night is October 24th from 6 to 8. There will be real-world math tests in the store, raffles and draws for gift cards, and dress-down passes for attendance. They will begin benchmark testing on October 31st through November 3rd. For JP King, back on September 20th and 21st, Ms. Francis and Ms. Freeman attended a 21st Century Conference in preparation for October 4th kickoff at JP King. Students have been attending 21st Century for 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday from 3 to 5:30. Students participate in homework help, math and reading workshops, and enrichment. The number is growing daily and students are excited to participate. JP King girls basketball is off to a great start, recently defeated Southampton at home. They will travel on October 25th for another chance to win against Southampton. On October 12th, JP King had their monthly Parents and Partners. Ms. Kelly Conaway spoke to parents about the Title I program. Afterwards, students and parents participated in a reading escape room. Teachers were designated to 7 rooms that students had to read passages and figure out the escape plan with a prize for all who escaped. Big thank you to their reading specialist, Mrs. Cox, and their teachers for making their learning activities so much fun. On October 16th through 20th, this was a busy week for JP King. They will be implementing their own STEM week. All classes will participate in hands-on math and science-related activities throughout all core areas. The teachers have worked hard to make this week that students enjoy. On Friday, all students will review the movie Hidden Figures as a culminating activity to their week. That Saturday, October 21st, Ms. Francis has several teachers along with advanced math students and all the girls that are participating in the Verizon program. They will attend NASA Langley Research Center's 100th anniversary. The students will be able to see where the pioneers from the golden age of aviation forged revolutionary ideas and where America's original astronauts, the Mercury 7, started their training. These activities are educational, entertaining, interactive, and motivating while demonstrating real-world math and science applications. JP King also had a Spirit Week this week to celebrate along with FHS Homecoming. Monday, school was out. Tuesday, they had a twin day. Wednesday was Warrior Wednesday. Students dressed like a superhero. Thursday was Throwback Thursday, where students dressed from their favorite decades, 70s, 80s, or 90s. And Friday is their Pink Out Day. Finally, for JP King, on October 27th is their Fall Picture Day. And also, the Lions Club will be visiting JP King to screen all 7th graders. Thank you.
Excellent. Good job.
Thank you.
So a lot going on in the schools. Excellent, very busy month. Next, we'll have good news by Ms. Wade.
Good evening. I'll begin with the Bronco Pride Clean School Award. As you all know, that's an award we give each month to the school that has the highest rating for cleanliness. This month, it is for the month of October 2017, and I am very excited and proud to congratulate J.P. King Middle School. Come forward, Mr. Boone and Ms. Files.
Very nice.
We'll begin the first Best Teacher Attendance Award at this meeting, because you remember we are pulling from the month of September. So the Best Teacher Attendance Award for the month of September, Franklin High School, 94.8%. Mr. Carter, if you'll come forward. Congratulations. Start the year off right. Best Student Attendance Award for the month of September 2017, J.P. King, 97.39. Ms. Francis?
That's it for the good news, is that
Yes,
correct? Well,
that's
let's go
correct.
keep it going. Ms. Wade is going to go into our next update, which is operations for the facilities and planning, the Charles Street Gym.
Yes, Mr. Custer couldn't be with us tonight, so I am filling in for him to provide you with an update on the roof project at Charles Street Gym. I think you were provided a letter earlier to explain that came from our engineers, but just to recap and summarize, during the removal of the existing roof deck on Charles Street Gym, it was discovered that the existing roof deck is very deteriorated and in several locations, and it was found to be structurally unsound. The recommendation from the roofing engineer is to totally remove the existing gypsum roof deck and replace it with a metal roof deck. Then the new roofing material can be applied to the metal deck. The additional cost of providing and installing the metal roof deck turnkey project, including the engineering services, will be $37,500.
I have a question on that. How much was originally budgeted for the roof replacement? Do you by chance know?
It was $125,000.
Okay. And we spent, we had to have the structural survey done.
That's correct.
And then we've spent the 58.5, well, we've
58.
got 58.5 set aside for the replacement.
Exactly. Mhm.
And then the brickwork that was replaced, was that also included? in
That was included.
125?
Mhm.
That's
So-
approximately 9,000.
Right. Okay.
And that was all out of QZAB funds.
Do we have we had an opportunity yet, I'll refer to Ms. Sterling, to look at funding that additional?
Yes, we have had that opportunity, which opened up talks with the city. And the city is supporting the Charles Street Gym project, and we went all the way back to when the project originated in 2015. After looking through the budget, we only had approximately $10,000 that we could set aside for the project. Bringing that to the city, they agreed that they would offset the additional cost of $27,000 to support finalizing the project. So again, it would, all, the rest of the remaining funds would come out of operations. We would have to approve the entire 37.5, but they would reimburse us the 27. And we did agree that a letter would be, if the board agreed, that a letter would be sent to the city noting how we would pay for the additional cost.
Great, thank you.
Yes. Are there any other questions on the Charles Street Gym? No? Okay. Okay, Mr. Whiting?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was asked after the last board meeting to get to find out about possibly leasing buses instead of purchasing outright. In your board books, you should have the price of a brand new bus, and this is off a state contract. And there's two leasing options. There's one that has the, if you pay for the bus the first year, you get it. And if you do that, then the total payment on the bus is going to be $106,207. And if you get the bus, say we get the bus this year, and we pay for it, start the first payment next year, then the price of the bus is then going to be $109,981.74. And the difference between the two, if you pay in the first year, the interest basically is what the difference is going to be, and the difference is $7,705. And if we do it the year after we receive the bus, then the difference in the cost is going to be $11,479. And just the only thing mindful about that is if we do the leasing instead of purchasing, and go with the same plan that I presented last month, we're going to be making payments on buses till the year 2028. So just keep that in mind. So, any questions on the bus?
We appreciate you doing the research and providing the information for us, Mr. Whiting.
All right. And then moving on to the automobiles, there's a, and I don't mean to get so wordy on the reports, but I just want you all to have a good full accounting of what we're doing with the automobiles in the system. In the report is a chart, and that covers all of the automobiles, the drivers, and where they're going and what times. You can take a look at those. Basically, we're using the automobiles to carry groups of students that are either going long distances or a small group of students that, it's not feasible to use a bus for. They also don't require a commercial driver's license, which means we don't have to have a bus driver. And as we talked about last month, we really don't have any sub-bus drivers at this point. The cars also get 3 to 4 times the fuel mileage that a bus gets, and the actual fuel is cheaper than the gasoline right now is a little bit cheaper than diesel fuel. So it's a lot more economical to use a car in a lot of situations than a bus. Right now, we're using 5 cars to transport students, and we have also 4 vehicles as backup. But those are vehicles that we use to go to conferences and to other professional development for the staff. And basically, and the cars are, like I said, anywhere from 6 to 18 years old. And pretty much they're all high mileage because they're used every day and they're going quite distances. So I've recommended that we replace 2 cars a year for the next 5 years also. Cars are going anywhere from probably 15,000 on state bid to 25,000 on state bid. So, and those are fairly new cars. When I say they're either 2016 or 2017, but they are used cars, but they're still on the state contract, and those kind of things are we've had pretty good luck with the very recent vehicles, so that's what we're recommending to do. So.
I think it's nice that we have a plan that you, and also you've provided the replacement schedule so that we can see that.
Any other questions?
Any other discussion or questions?
There's no provision in our current budget for these replacements.
Not, I don't believe so.
Yes, I like the fact that we do have a plan, you know, that we can be proactive as we're budgeting, you know, moving forward. If we can. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White. Very, very thorough update. Mr. Custis couldn't be with us this evening, so I'm going to ask Ms. Wade if she can come back and do the utility update.
Okay, we held a meeting on September the 29th. The division superintendent, the director of human resources, the supervisor of maintenance, and the director of finance. We all met with a representative here from ABM, the city manager, the city treasurer, and the director of power and lights from the city. And it was determined that the meter at J.P. King Middle School was actually reading and reporting in error. The city official stated that a new meter would be placed at the site. The necessary equipment was going to be ordered and received by the city in the upcoming weeks. And in order to install that new meter, the building would have to be shut down completely for about 4 hours. So Mr. Custer, our supervisor of maintenance, is going to get with the city to establish a date to perform that installation of the meter, and make sure that we schedule that at a time when it does not impact or impede our instruction time. So it looks like maybe they'll propose a Saturday maybe to do that. The replacement meter would cost approximately $1,500, and that cost would be incurred by the city. And the city official stated that the school division would be given a credit for the 6 of the 9 months of reported increases. And it was stated that it would take approximately 2 months to go through the entire process and identify those amounts. The representative from ABM stated to city officials that they would gladly share any information from the equipment that they had installed in order to assist them in the process. So it was good that we were able to bring some resolution to this, because we all knew that there was something going on. So it was good that we were all able to come together and bring resolution to this matter.
Adding to that, I was met with the city just recently, as of yesterday, just to get some more information. So the equipment is going on sometime this weekend. So we need to let them run that process, because the bill for J.P. King alone came in this month at $26,000. So it continues to go up and up and up. However, I was advised, because it was a concern, that we would just have to pay the average amount, or we would really be running into a budgetary deficit. So we did get that approval to just do the average amount, which was about $3,000, until the system comes off of the building. I'm hoping that I can have a report for you in November that they've completed that project, so we can go into the reimbursement phase, so we can discuss exactly how we would like to be reimbursed as the school division.
Well, I have a question, Ms. Sterling, because here it says receive a credit. However, we're getting a bill for $3,000. So are we paying the $3,000, or are we getting a credit?
As far as our bills are concerned, which this bill came in at 26,000, we had the meeting and they know that there's a discrepancy, that the system was faulty. So I was advised not to pay the 26,000, but to pay the average cost, which would be 3,000 for this month, until they can rectify that situation as far as getting that meter placed on, pulling that data for 4 hours, then pulling it off and reporting back to us their findings. So we're not getting a credit, so to speak, yet until they
Not yet.
finish with the entire project.
Thank you. Thank you. You've answered my question.
Okay. May I proceed?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Next, we'll have Ms. Conaway. She's going to update us on the Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant.
Good evening, Dr. Hall Leonard, board members, Ms. Sterling and Mr. Williams. Tonight, I'm going to present to you a new Title IV Part A grant titled Student Support Academic and Enrichment Grant. And Ms. Wilson, if you don't mind, may I scroll? Oh, please. Thank you. All right, I appreciate it. Okay, so what is Title IV Part A? Well, it's a new federal grant that's been given to all divisions in the state of Virginia, including Franklin. And the purpose of the grant is to increase academic achievement by allowing us to have the capacity to provide all students with access to a well-rounded education, improve school conditions for student learning, so looking at school safety, and improve the use of technology in order to improve academic achievement and digital literacy of all students. So that's the three purposes of the grant. The requirements for submission of the grant: for school divisions that receive $30,000 or greater, you had to conduct a needs assessment and address all three areas of the grant. But for school divisions receiving less than $30,000, you did not have to conduct a needs assessment, and you only had to address one area of the grant. And I underline it because that's where we fall. We receive less than $30,000, and I'll give you the amount as we go forward. We also had to include at least 6 measurable objectives, present the grant to our local school board for approval, and obtain signatures from the superintendent and the school board chairperson, and submit the grant to the Department of Education by November 1st. So our dollar award is listed there, $19,091.87. The objectives, and this is not the measurable objective, this is the highlight of our objectives. And our objectives, we included to increase graduation rate for students with disabilities, increase graduation rate for overage and undercredited students, and implement an early college scholars academy on the campus of Franklin High School as part of the high school redesign. We also looked at to improve students' performance on the science benchmark assessments at the elementary school, because that was an area of concern. To improve student performance on the science SOL assessment at the elementary school. We did not make it in that area this year. And to improve students' performance on mathematics SOL assessments at the elementary school. We made it, but we want to continue to excel. So those are the highlight of our objectives. And what Franklin requested with the $19,000+ we asked to supplement a position in the amount of $9,000 and the associated FICA for $688.50. That person would be partly a student success support monitor who will work at the middle and the high school at least one day a week to support the graduation rate of all students. And they will also assist with the implementation of the Early College Scholars Academy. So they would support case managers of students with disabilities to monitor transcripts to make sure that they are on track for graduation. They will also look at our overage and undercredited students to make sure that they are successful because of the move. So we'll make sure to keep an eye on them, keep a focus on them, and also secure their interventions if that's required in order for them to be successful. And also coordinate with other partners to implement our Early College Scholars Academy to see how can we incorporate the dual enrollment piece or any other additional pieces for all students, and also come up with criteria so it wouldn't exclude students but include students. And the $9,403.37 for the elementary school, we want to include an instructional lab, a STEM lab, more like a STEM Smart Lab, where students will have the opportunity to engage in all areas of STEM. They will be able to do it online using online software, but whatever they do online, we want them to also have a hands-on experience with it. So you practice it, draw it out online, but you also create it with your hands. And so that lab, we want it to work through the science department and possibly be open during lunchtime for students and be monitored through lunchtime. And we're hoping with that lab, it would increase our science scores as well as our math scores. I did a little research, and it said that students who participate in a STEM lab, their reading scores also come up. So hopefully it will help us in our areas of concern. And so that's what I presented to you tonight, the new grant and what we would like to do with it. The grant, we'll ask for your approval later, tonight. Any questions on the grant? Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Conway. Next, we'll have our instructional updates from Mr. Edwards.
I say good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Madam Chair, and to the Franklin City Public School Board. We'd like to give you a teaching, learning, and accountability instruction update. And we would like to start with that look like me, Miss Will. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. So we would like to start with our teaching, learning, accountability update, and start with, I'd like to give the board just an overview of how we tier our instruction in Franklin City Public Schools. Our ultimate goal is to get all students in Tier 1, and giving you just a brief overview of what Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 instruction looks like. For example, in Tier 1 instruction, it's basically a comprehensive research-based curriculum. It's school-wide, class-wide size, and we monitor the progress of students monthly to quarterly, and the population served will be all students. If a student is in Tier 2, it is a targeted small group of instruction, 3 to 7 small groups, and we also look at monitoring at least once per month. And we also look at who's the population served. It would be our at-risk students. Now, when we look at Tier 3, it is more individualized based on student data. There are no more than 3 in a group size, and we monitor weekly. And the population served would be significant and persistent needs. I want to give you that basic overview as we go into the data. And the data we're presenting this evening is at SP Morton Elementary School. And it relates to our MAPS results from our testing. We have the MAP data from SP Morton, and we looked at reading and math. And for the board's review and purview, we labeled how many students were in Tier 1, how many students in Tier 2, how many students in Tier 3, and we gave you an overall vision of who was tested and also the percentage of our students that at the beginning of the year, right now, are in Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And keep in mind that our ultimate goal is for all students to be in Tier 1 instruction. And what we've done is we've grouped this data by all students who took math and reading at SP Morton. And so, Ms. Wilson, if you would slowly scroll. What you see is grade 2, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Grade 3. Grade 4. and ultimately grade 5. So that is a brief overview of the map data that is reviewed at SP Morton. Now, when we come back, we will have the results that were given at JP King, and we will also be looking at the benchmark data from Franklin High School at our next update. Are there any questions concerning the map data?
Not a question, but just for clarification, Mr. Edwards,
Yes,
would you
ma'am.
help our community, especially those that may be watching
Yes,
us
ma'am.
that may not be able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
The MAP, and then, could you break that down for us?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the SGA, MAP, and SGA.
Okay, absolutely, yes,
Yes.
ma'am. I gotta remember to stay away from those acronyms, Dr. Holland. Yes.
Yes.
All right, just scroll back up. The measures of academic progress.
Yes.
And generally, it is given at the beginning, in the spring, and at the end. And so, in doing the measures of academic progression, what it does, it gives us what we call a RIT score. And what that score does, so where I scored at this time, it gives me a goal to reach at the midpoint. And once I take it in the spring, it gives me a goal to reach at the end point. And we are continuously working for student improvement. And so this sets goals for our students to attain. And if we see them grow, then we know that they're on the right path to making the progression and doing well on our SOL assessments.
Now, I know we've talked earlier in the year and last school year in reference to the students being able to understand their data.
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
we still ensuring that our students understand their data? For example, are they given this information?
Yes, ma'am. Students are
Okay.
given the map results, absolutely. And also,
So then that they know what they're working towards.
that's correct. They know
Okay.
their goals. And also, doing our comprehensive data reviews, and which is upcoming next, that is when we sit with principals and assistant principals and the teachers and staff, and we look at where the students are at this point of in our curriculum and where they're scoring right now. For instance, our first comprehensive data retreat will be at Franklin High School Monday at 1 o'clock. And we'll start that process this Monday, along with our power walkthroughs, and that's my next presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Holland. And for the board's review, I would like to give you, this is our benchmark and comprehensive data review dates for our first quarter. It lists our schools. For Franklin High School, Franklin High School has administered their benchmarks, and their benchmark comprehensive review data is this Monday at 1 o'clock on October the 23rd. JP King will be administering benchmarks next week, and their comprehensive data review is set for November the 3rd. And also, SP Morton will be giving their benchmarks October 31st through November the 3rd, and their CDR comprehensive data review is scheduled for November the 7th, 2017. I also mentioned power walkthroughs. We have narrowed down the focus of the division level power walkthrough dates for all schools first quarter. We've recently done a power walkthrough at Franklin High School where we went into all the math classrooms. We did a 20-minute observation. We gathered together for debriefing, and that, I must add, that was done in consult with Dr. Pat Fisher, who is one of our representatives from the Department of Education. And she joined us with the walkthroughs, and we did a debrief of the math department once we completed at Franklin High School. We're preparing our final conclusive dates so we can get these to Dr. Fisher, so she'll be able to join us in our next power walkthrough. We narrowed the funnel down to a week. Now we're trying to pinpoint the exact date and wanted to give the board. And this is how, under the division of Ms. Sterling, we keep our pulse on our instruction that's going on in the division.
The information that is shared by Dr. Fisher, is that also, will that information also be shared with the board?
So Dr. Fisher, what she does, she participates with us and goes through the walkthrough. So ma'am, yes ma'am, we share that information with the board.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we'd like to give the board this information. Ms. Sterling had mentioned previously the Office of School Improvement coming in, giving us a deep dive on where we are. And we welcome, so how we can always looking for continuous improvement, improve. And we wanted to apprise the board that our Office of School Improvement scheduled visit is Tuesday, October 31st through Friday, November the 3rd. And that will be here, and we've already identified the location, and we are waiting to see what we need to look at in Franklin City Public Schools, taking this deep dive to help our students become the best students they can through our academic performing.
I just want to provide some additional information. The last time this was done, it resulted in our memorandum of understanding with the state. This time, it's just going to provide us with some diagnostic feedback on the direction in which we're going in and some improvements that we've made and some areas that still need improvement. But this will not be something that will be going to the state board. It is solely for our information and to inform our new board where we are today in 2017 opposed to where we were in 2013. So this is going to give us a really clear picture before we begin to do strategic planning with the entire, board with our division goals. This will help assist with developing our division goals.
And this was, Dr. Hollander, this was
Yes.
triggered by a request from your superintendent.
Yes.
So this is a voluntary, come take a look, tell us what we can do to try to get better. So that's, it's a situation that your superintendent has asked for, which is a good thing.
It
It's
is.
proactive. It's
Yes.
proactive.
Yes.
We appreciate you being proactive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and the rest of our board and our agenda is the Principal's Monthly Report, as well as the September 2017 Professional Development Log, and as always, the MOU updates. You have these in your possession. Also, I would like to make a comment also for the community, that those that were not able to be with us this evening and those that are sitting in the audience, that all of our PowerPoints will be uploaded to our website for you to be able to look at your leisure, to be updated on things that we discuss. So we wanted to make certain that we continue to work at a level of transparency that supports everyone understanding the decisions that we make and how it affects our children and our division overall. And that concludes my principal's report, superintendent report, excuse me.
Were there any questions in reference to board members, the principal's monthly report, and the professional development log? Any
Superintendent.
discussions? I want to, just want to mention, not a question, just a comment, the format that you all provide for us for professional development. I know I like the format, the fact that you tell us the funding source for the expenses for the professional development. Whether if there is a fee, you say there's a fee. If there's no fee, you tell us there's no fee. If it's coming from the general fund, we know where it's coming from.
Exactly.
I like the format.
Thank you.
And I know that was a part of the memorandum of understanding, is that we make sure that we will continue to have our staff members and all employees trained. Any other questions, comments for the superintendent's report? Discussion? Next on our agenda, we have unfinished business. And I don't think we had any unfinished business for this evening, and so next is new business. The recommended action is to approve the 2017-2018 Title IV, Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the 2017-2018 Title IV, Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the 2017-2018 Title IV Part A Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the motion is carried. Thank you. Business by school board members. We have important dates to remember, and we have, it's a list. So we have board members who are on specific committees. So let's govern ourselves accordingly. Bright Starts Advisory coming up, Technology Advisory. We have a VSBA board training, goal setting that's coming up, Career and Technical Education, Student Discipline, Building and Grounds. We have board governance meeting. Then there are some announcements from the schools. And then we have a Franklin Community Wall of Excellence. And then let's see, we also have Personnel and Finance Committee meeting. And then we will have please note that our regularly scheduled board meeting, we did agree to change that meeting date to Thursday, November the 9th, 2017 at 7:00 p.m. So we do want to note the change. Anything else under business by school board members? All right, we do have some school board members who have attended, I believe, either some recent conferences or trainings, or would you like to report out tonight on your committee meetings?
We held a Personnel and Finance Committee meeting on October the 11th, and at that meeting, Mrs. Wade gave us a very comprehensive review of the performance evaluation process for all teachers as well as central office staff. We also heard from Mrs. Conway about the grant process and the current status of many of our grants, and Mrs. Kindred provided us some advanced information on the utility update that we heard about tonight, that good news. It was a very informative and helpful session.
Thank you, Ms. Gesture.
Yeah, I attended the Bright Starts Committee meeting, the first one, and Kelly Conway led that discussion and had a real good representation from teachers and all the other members. And one of the things that we're working on, and I'm sure on the 23rd, Kelly will get all the information together. It's a 38-page audit document. It's called the Virginia Preschool Initiative. So something that we're working on, and everybody was assigned little tasks to take care of. So very well organized, and look forward to getting this completed.
Thank you, Mr. Richnett. Thank you.
And also on October the 4th, we had a Building and Grounds Committee meeting, and I will say Dan Custer was on the ball. We had just received notice about the Charles Street Gym, and he was very open and transparent and wanted to make sure that we were very well aware of what was going on with that right away, even before they had really had time to react to it. So they're making sure that we are in the know with what's going on, which is really, really great.
Thank you so much, Ms. Phillips. Thank you. Anyone else? I had the opportunity to attend this past Monday the Regional Gifted Advisory Meeting that was held at Hermitage Elementary School. And I had the opportunity to not only collaborate with other professionals, but also parents and gifted students. And it was really advantageous to be able to hear and listen to the gifted students talk to us. And some gifted students, one of my main takeaways was some gifted students may be twice identified. And when we hear twice identified, I mean that gifted student may be an exceptional student because they may have a special need but they may also be gifted with a certain talent. Here in Franklin City Public Schools, we are very fortunate to have gifted education specialists. I didn't know she was going to be in the audience tonight, so it wasn't planned, Ms. Burgess, but she is in the back. But we are very fortunate to have someone who's following our students. So we have gifted education at elementary school, gifted education middle school, and the high school. And I do serve as a board member. I serve also on the Gifted Education Advisory Committee. And in our annual plan, we have been talking about trying to implement the arts and how we're going to do that. And we are fortunate, due to the collaboration of our community partners and city council, to be able to offer slots in our school division to students who may be exceptionally talented in a particular area. And just today, we wanted to highlight, because this morning on, I don't know how many people saw the news, it was actually featured on the Richmond News, but the Appomattox Regional Governor's School of the Arts had a spot today on the news in Richmond. So we thought it appropriate tonight to play just a clip, because one of our students is featured in the a cappella group. Now, the a cappella group that is called Dragon Scales. And this group of students was eager to participate. And the parents have to get them, as well as the school, to get them to Richmond to be able to do this. So we want to give a shout out to Mr. Whiting and your transportation department. So we're all working together. It's a team, because the school division sponsors transportation. So we thank all of our community partners for being able to do that, so that these students are able to be transported on a weekly basis, either to the Appomattox Regional Governor's School of the Arts or the Governor's School of the Arts in Norfolk, Virginia. And on tomorrow evening, we want to begin as a school division to make sure that we're highlighting when our students at the Governor's School in Norfolk or in Petersburg, whenever they have a function, we want to make everyone aware in the community so that they can go out to support those events. So on tomorrow evening, there is a function that this group will be performing at. So let's listen in.
Show.
Go right, Mrs. Burgess, would you come forward, please? Oh, no, don't say. Yes, he is.
I'm extremely proud to say that he is, and he's not even there, his focus area is instrumental music. So he's taking a sideline little, journey on his very family. This is wonderful.
Thank you, Mrs. Burgess. I was not going to shout him out. But we want to say, yes, thank you so much. We want to also shout out Mr. Phelps and his team. Mr. Carter is here tonight, and I believe they're working on a choir for the high school at Franklin High School this year to give more of our students opportunities like this. We want to embrace it. We want to let the community know that we're working together to give more of our students the opportunities. And as a school division, Mrs. Sterling will make sure that she's getting with all of the teachers, of the gifted, and parents to get all of the dates so that those dates will go out to the school division district-wide, so we know when something is going on with one of our students who's either at ARGS or the Governor's School of the Arts in Norfolk, so that we're able to support all of our students. So I did want to shout out Gifted Education on this evening. I was just delighted to have the opportunity to participate on Monday. It was a wonderful meeting, wonderful. Anything else?
nice.
See, I told her you needed to come up, Mrs. Burgess.
I just wanted to let everybody know that the Governor's School for the Arts applications are now taking place for anybody who is interested in our school division, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, for the Governor's School for the Arts in Norfolk. And those are truly the arts, dance, instrumental music, visual arts, it is also applications are going out for the Appomattox Regional Governor's School, just so you all be aware. And those are all due in December, of which then they'll go through adjudication in January, and the students will know in March and April. We do have some applicants, so we're very excited. To the board, I want to thank you for allowing possibly the opportunity of us adding another slot into the Norfolk Governor's School, Appomattox Regional Governor's School, due to a glitch we're having, so we're excited we're going to offer another slot in here and all of this, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Burgess, for the update. Any other business by school board members? We did acknowledge Councilman McLemore, but we had another councilman to come in, Mr. Benny Burgess. We're always delighted and happy to see one of our supporters. City Council supports us. We want you to know we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you to all of the staff, personnel who come out and participate. And I know sometimes I said, Mrs. Sterling, it's another board meeting and who's going tonight. We appreciate your time, all of your efforts. We really appreciate it. We see what you're doing, and we would like to say thank you. So, will we have a motion to adjourn?
If I could just
Yes.
add one more.
Yes.
I know it wasn't in gold, but I wanted to see if we could revisit the Charles Street Gym.
Okay.
With the weather coming in, it would do a lot of damage if we don't take action on
On that tonight. Okay.
moving to secure